What's going on, everybody? Kalipis Tech here, coming back at you with another video. In this video, we're going to be doing a comparison between the Motorola Moto G Stylus 2022 and the Motorola Moto G Power 2021. So let's get started. Now, the Moto G Stylus 2022 has a 6.8-inch IPS LCD display with a resolution of 1080p, a PPI of 396, an aspect ratio of 20.5:9, and a screen-to-body ratio of around 84.6%. We got a hole punch up here for the front-facing camera, and this camera is 16 megapixels. Now, the Moto G Power 2021 has a 6.6-inch IPS LCD display as well, with a resolution of 720p, a PPI of 266, an aspect ratio of 20:9, and a screen-to-body ratio of about 83.8%. So these displays are pretty similar. Definitely both of them do look pretty good, and they have around the same viewing angles as well. But I will say, the Moto G Stylus 2022 definitely has a sharper image. With that 1080p display versus 720p, you can definitely see the difference here. The Moto G Stylus 2022 also has a larger display, making it more ideal for content consumption. And not only is the display larger, but it also has a slightly taller form factor as well. So when you're viewing videos in landscape mode, it's going to look a little bit better. And when you're reading, you'll be able to fit more on the screen without having to scroll as much. Now, another advantage this phone has is the refresh rate. This phone has a 90 Hz refresh rate, whereas the Moto G Power 2021 only has a 60 Hz refresh rate. This is basically going to make the movement on the screen of the Moto G Stylus 2022 a little bit faster and smoother. Now, you can't really tell that much in this video, but in real life, when you're actually using the phone, you will notice a difference. You'll get a better content consumption experience. And when you're just navigating through the phone in general, it's going to feel a little bit more premium with the Moto G Stylus 2022 than it will with the Moto G Power 2021. But besides those differences, both of these phones do have really good displays for their respective price ranges. Motorola definitely makes really good IPS LCD displays, and while the Moto G Power 2021 might not have as great of a display as the Moto G Stylus 2022, the colors still look pretty nice and vibrant overall. Now, for the camera, the Moto G Power 2021 also has a hole punch, this one being off to the side instead of in the middle like the Moto G Stylus 2022. And this camera is 8 megapixels, so not quite as powerful, but definitely still pretty good. For storage, the Moto G Stylus 2022 is getting 128 gigabytes of internal storage with microSD card expansion, and the Moto G Power 2021 is getting 32 gigabytes of internal storage with microSD card expansion as well. Now, keep in mind there's another variant of this phone with 64 gigabytes, but this specific phone in my hand only has 32. Now, this is a huge difference here because regardless, no version of the Moto G Power is going to have more storage or even as much storage for that matter as the Moto G Stylus 2022. So if you're a power user, if you have lots of apps, photos and videos, that sort of thing, the Moto G Stylus 2022 is definitely going to have a huge advantage for you because even though you can offload lots of stuff on microSD cards, it's definitely nicer to have more storage on the phone itself overall. Now, as you can see here, I have pretty much the same apps on both of these phones, just the stuff that you might use on a regular basis. In taking a look at how this actually impacts the storage, with the Moto G Stylus 2022, I'm using 34.29 gigabytes, taking up 27% of the space, whereas with the Moto G Power 2021, I'm using 28.39 gigabytes, taking up 89%, so I'm almost full on this phone. And really, in my opinion, I just have the bare minimum. And look at this, the system is taking up 16 gigabytes, so that's already almost half, in fact exactly half, of the original storage on this phone. So you can definitely see this makes a huge difference. The Moto G Stylus 2022 with quadruple the storage of this version of the Moto G Power 2021 is definitely going to have a huge advantage if you plan on having any number of apps. Now, neither of these phones have wireless charging, but both of them have a fingerprint scanner right here on the power key and face unlock as well. So with both of these phones, we're getting two options to get into them. Now, with that being said, starting with the Moto G Stylus 2022, we're going to give these fingerprint scanners a try and see how well they work. There we go, one more time. And there we go, real fast and responsive, no issues here. Moving on to the Moto G Power 2021. There we go, one more time. And there we go. So same thing, real fast and responsive. Both of these fingerprint scanners are real good, and I had no issues. Now taking a look at the rear camera setup of the Moto G Stylus 2022, we got a triple camera here with a 50 megapixel main camera, an 8 megapixel ultra wide camera that doubles as a macro camera, and a 2 megapixel depth sensing camera. With the Moto G Power 2021, we also have a triple camera here with a 48 megapixel main camera, a 2 megapixel macro camera, and a 2 megapixel depth sensing camera as well. So overall, both of these phones do have pretty good camera setups, but I will say the Moto G Stylus 2022 definitely has a significantly better one. Not only does it have a slightly more powerful main camera, but it also has an ultra wide camera as well, whereas the Moto G Power 2021 doesn't. Now it is pretty interesting to see that the Moto G Stylus 2022 has an ultra wide camera that's actually combined into the macro camera, but regardless, that is how it works. It does have all the features here, whereas again with the Moto G Power 2021 we don't have an ultra wide camera. So overall, in terms of general features, the Moto G Stylus 2022 is going to have an advantage here. In addition to this, the photo quality in general is just better on the Moto G Stylus 2022. Not to say that the Moto G Power 2021 doesn't take good photos, because it really does, but if you really want to take the nicest photos you can for social media or something like that, I would say the Moto G Stylus 2022 is going to be the way to go here. Internally, the Moto G Stylus 2022 is getting 6GB of RAM with the MediaTek Helio G88 processor. The Moto G Power 2021 is getting 3GB of RAM with the Qualcomm Snapdragon 662 processor. Now I ran Geekbench 5 benchmark tests on both of these phones, and the Moto G Stylus 2022 came back with a single core score of 368 and a multi-core score of 1304. Meanwhile, the Moto G Power 2021 came back with a single core score of 306 and a multi-core score of 1370. So this is kind of interesting. Technically, the Moto G Power 2021 has a little bit more processing power than the Moto G Stylus 2022 overall. The single core score of the Moto G Stylus 2022 is a little bit better, whereas the multi-core score of the Moto G Power 2021 is a little bit better here. Now, in practice, both of these phones are going to be roughly the same. They're really mid-range phones. They'll be fine for all your normal tasks, whether you're browsing the web, going on social media, streaming videos, maybe some light gaming. But if you're getting into higher end activities, like more graphics heavy games, or maybe video editing, then these phones are both probably going to struggle a little bit. But again, regardless, power-wise, these phones are the same. They both run really well for normal activities, and I haven't personally had any issues with either of them. These phones have almost the exact same battery, with a 5000 mAh battery, although fast charging is a little bit different here, with the Moto G Stylus 2022 supporting 10 watt fast charging and the Moto G Power 2021 supporting 15 watt fast charging. Now that's really not going to make a difference in the grand scheme of things, because I can guarantee if you plug in one of those really powerful fast chargers, both of these phones are going to charge really fast and you're probably not going to notice the difference. But that being said, you're going to get a lot of life throughout the day. In fact, probably multiple days for that matter. And then down the road, as these batteries start to degrade, it's not going to affect you nearly as quickly as it would with a smaller battery, because you're starting out with so much battery life as it is. So if battery life is important to you, or if you just like to get one phone and keep it for a long time without replacing it, both of these phones are going to be great for that purpose. Now, unfortunately, neither of these phones have NFC, and that is a disappointment, because today in 2022, mobile contactless payment services like Google Pay, for example, are becoming more and more popular, and you need NFC for that. And unfortunately, these phones don't have it. And that's even more of a disappointment for the Moto G Stylus 2022, because I feel like every phone in this price range that came out in 2022 besides this phone has NFC. Even phones slightly cheaper than this that came out in late 2021 still have it. But for whatever reason, Motorola hasn't put NFC in this phone. So I don't really get why. Even with the Moto G Power 2021, sure, there's some pretty good deals with this phone, but it does MSRP around $200. And the Cricket Dream 5G with a full price of around $185 has NFC, and this phone doesn't. So that really just goes to show it doesn't make a whole lot of sense why neither of these phones have NFC. Again, especially the Moto G Stylus 2022, this should really have it. But I'm hoping that maybe next year, maybe those phones will finally start to get NFC. But now that we've gone over some of the specs of the phones, let's take a closer look at the devices themselves. So on the left side here with both of these phones, we got the slot for the SIM card and the micro SD card. On the bottom here, we got the speakers, the microphones, USB-C ports. With the Moto G Stylus 2022, we got the 3.5mm headphone jack down here, as well as the stylus, of course. And this stylus is really easy to take out. And they actually have a round design this time, so you don't need to worry about which direction you have it when you put it in. On the right side here, both of the phones got the power key that also doubles as the fingerprint scanner, volume down, volume up. On the top here, we got the noise canceling microphones, and with the Moto G Power 2021, we got the headphone jack right up here. Overall, both of these phones do have really nice designs. Neither of them are bulky at all. They have nice, slim looks, and they look really modern and pretty high quality for what they are. But I will say, the Moto G Stylus 2022 does have a little bit more weight to it, making it feel a little more premium. On the back, we got our camera setup and our flash. The Moto G Stylus 2022 has a nice metallic finish, and the Moto G Power 2021 has this silver finish. I honestly think both of these phones look really good, but as far as the finishes go, I do like the Moto G Power 2021 a little bit better. The silver finish is really unique and you can hardly see any fingerprints here. But in conclusion, which of these devices is better? I do think the Moto G Stylus 2022 is going to be the better device here. It has a much better display in pretty much every way. We're getting quadruple the storage, a better camera setup that takes higher quality photos, a more premium feel overall with more weight to it, and of course, as the name implies, the stylus as well. But with that being said, the Moto G Power 2021, especially for being not only a lower model, but an older phone than the Moto G Stylus 2022, does still hold its own. I mean, the display still looks really good, the colors are nice and vibrant, it has decent viewing angles, a really nice high quality design with good placement for the fingerprint scanner, and as you saw earlier in the video, the processing power is actually a little more with this phone than it is with the Moto G Stylus 2022. So in general, both of these phones are really great for what they are, but overall, I would say the Moto G Stylus 2022 is the better device, especially if you're taking lots of photos or doing lots of content consumption. Now once again, if you want to learn more about either of these phones, be sure to check out my full reviews and tips and tricks videos for them on the channel. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you found this information useful as well. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. But as always, I will see you in the next video.